Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear students of class 8, today we will discuss about the mitochondria. We have been discussing the cell for last couple of days. Initially, I introduced you to the term cell, where I did tell you about the cell in general. Later on, we moved to the parts of the cell, and so far we have been able to discuss or talk about the cell membrane, the cytoplasm, and the nucleus. Today, we're going to talk about a very important cell organism which is called as mitochondria. As far as this mitochondria is concerned, this mitochondria, this is the plural term, right? Mitochondria means more than one mitochondria, and the single mitochondria is called as mitochondrion. Mitochondrion is a singular term and mitochondria is the plural term. When we are referring to a particular mitochondria, we should use the term mitochondrion, but when we are referring to more than one mitochondria, we should use the term mitochondria, because mitochondria is a plural and mitochondrion is singular. Here you see the structure of the mitochondrion, not the mitochondria. Mitochondria, I am repeating, it's plural, and mitochondria is singular. And dear students, initially this mitochondria was not mitochondria. What I mean to say that this mitochondria has been given some other name. It was called, for the first time, it was discovered by a scientist whose name was Robert Altman. Robert Altman, little bit about this discovery. Later on we will move to its structure and functions. Robert Altman was a scientist who in the year 1890, when he observed the structure in the cell, he called it bioblast. Right? So the first name given to the mitochondria was bioblast, and this name was given to it by a scientist whose name was Robert Altman, and he gave this name in 1890. Right? His name was Robert Altman, and he called these structures as bioblasts. Right? After him, he was followed by another scientist, and another scientist's name was Benda, Benda. Benda was another scientist who, in the year 1897 to 1898, he called them as what you call them today. He called them as mitochondria. Mitochondria. So the mitochondria name was coined by Benda. Repeating, the name cell was coined by, what was his name? The scientist who coined the name cell was Robert Hooke, right? But the mitochondria name was coined by Benda in the year 1897 and 1898. Then another scientist whose name was Kingsburg, Kings, Kingsburg, right? Kingsburg was another scientist who in the year 1912 stated that these mitochondria are associated with the cellular respiration. Cellular respiration. The name of the scientist was Kingsburg, who in the year 1912 stated that these mitochondria are related with the cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is a process wherein the food is oxidized by the oxygen to release energy. Right? That is called as cellular respiration. Most of the students are confused with this cellular respiration and breathing. Breathing is a mechanical process, that is something else, but cellular respiration is something else. It means it's a process which takes place inside the cell and in the mitochondria. Right? So Kingsburg was a scientist who said in 1912 that cellular respiration is associated with the mitochondria. Then came another scientist whose name was Warburg. Warburg, Warburg, he said that these mitochondria, Kingsburg said that these mitochondria are associated with cellular respiration, but Warburg said that these mitochondria are associated with enzymes. Right? Means that there is some association between the mitochondria and enzymes. And according to Kingsburg, there is some association between mitochondria and cellular respiration. So this was a little, what we can say, historical perspective about the discovery of the mitochondria and the different viewpoints of the scientists about this cell organelle called mitochondria. But here I would like to repeat one thing, that the term mitochondria was coined by Binda in 1897 to 1898, and the first name given to them was bioblast. It was given to this cell organelle by a scientist called as Robert Altman in 1890. Right? Let's move to the structural part. Okay. Please pay attention. Here you see the structure of the mitochondria. I'm sure this diagram is absolutely visible to all of you. Here you see the diagram. Okay. So as far as this mitochondria is concerned, first of all, let me just give you a little information about the shape of the mitochondria. The mitochondria, they are usually rod shaped. Okay. They are particle shaped. Okay. Mitochondria shape wise, they can be rod shaped, they can be particle shaped, or uh, uh, they can be spherical. In certain cases they can be spherical. But let me tell you, my dear student, that these shapes are not fixed shapes. Actually, the shape of mitochondria varies, right? And when we say the shape of mitochondria is variable, that means it changes. That means that this change in the shape of the mitochondria, uh, it must, you know, it must be because of some factors, right? For example, if the temperature is the factor that can play a part as far as the change in the shape of mitochondria is concerned. Temperature darja hararat, ये बढ़िया ये darja hararat ये अमुक चो बढ़ाया रास्त आसान effect mitochondria shape change करनस मज, right? So we can say temperature is a factor that gives rise to the variations in the shape of mitochondria. And other than this, if the mitochondria is in the acid medium, अगर ये mitochondria is acid medium मज, तम सत गसान mitochondria shape तब्दील. ठीक? Now let my straight away move to the structure of mitochondria. As far as the structure of mitochondria is concerned, mitochondria is a double membranous organism. Sorry, double membranous organelle. Double membranous organelle. That means it is bound by, there are two membranes, right? इसके जो है ना membranes दो होते हैं. कौन कौन से? एक होते हैं outer membrane. Please now pay attention. Outer membrane and inner membrane. Inner membrane. And between this outer membrane and inner membrane, you have a fluid. The area which is fluid with fluid, this is called as intermembrane space. Intermembrane space. And you see this inner membrane is folded into finger-like projections. They are called as cristae. Cristae. Repeating, mitochondria is a double membranous organelle, right? And the inner membrane of mitochondria is folded into finger-like projections. These finger-like projections are called as cristae. And the space between the inner membrane and the outer membrane, this space is called as intermembrane space, and this space is filled with watery fluid, or this space is filled with water, right? And now The space within this within the inner membrane. Inner membrane under can you see George, right? This is called as matrix. This is called as matrix. We call it mitochondrial matrix, right? We call it as mitochondrial matrix. And this mitochondrial matrix is very important as far as some important structures or as far as some important components of mitochondria are concerned. I will discuss about those components later on with you. Now, so far, what you have learned, it is the outer membrane. Outer membrane means the outermost covering of mitochondria. It is more or less like the skin, right? Then comes the inner membrane, but this inner membrane is folded into finger-like projections. These are called as cristae. The space between this inner membrane and the outer membrane, this is called as intermembrane space, right? Now, and the space within the inner membrane is other condition. This is called as mitochondrial matrix. This is called as mitochondrial matrix. Now, why this inner membrane is folded into these finger-like projections? This is because it increases the surface area of mitochondria. Surface area of mitochondria. These cristae, as you can see, if I can draw them here separately, this inner membrane is folded into these finger-like projections. But why? Because these finger-like projections or cristae, they increase the surface area of the mitochondria. Why? Because it needs a lot of oxygen. It has to have that large or increased surface area because it has to carry out a lot of chemical functions. So it needs space. So when you have these, foldings of the inner membrane of the mitochondria, they increase the surface area of the mitochondria so that more and more chemical reactions can take place. Okay. That is why the inner membrane of the mitochondria is folded into these finger-like projections, which we call as cristae. Right? Now, between these cristae, for example, you have one cristae here, another cristae here. There is a space between these two cristae. This is called as inter-cristae space. Inter-cristae space. Now, I told you in the beginning that this matrix is very important as far as some of the important components of mitochondria are concerned. Why? Because this mitochondria contains what we call as mitochondrial DNA. It contains ribosomes, right? It contains enzymes. It contains calcium and magnesium ions. Here, I would like to tell you something very interesting, that mitochondria is the only organelle inside the cell which has got its own DNA, right? If it has got its own DNA, then we can say that this mitochondria is a self-replicating organelle. That means it can produce more mitochondria because it has got its own DNA. DNA अगर न अथ मज अगर न सेल मज DNA आसे सेल गस न रिप्लिकेट गस सह बनाने पन्नी हिच कॉपी के मगर यथ थोमुत खुदावन करीमन पनुन DNA गो इस माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया ये है कि सेल्फ रिप्लिकेट गस ये बनाई पन्नी हिच कॉपी। अब सवाल पैदा होता है, क्या ये हमने पहले भी पढ़ा है, जनरल जो कंसेप्ट है वो ये है, and it is true to a larger extent that mitochondria are present in all cells, whether it's a plant cell or animal cell, but exceptions are always there, right? Now, if you see, as far as the mature red blood cells of humans are concerned, body red blood cells, RBCs, they do not have mitochondria, they do not have a nucleus. Yesterday I forgot to tell you, when I said that our red blood cells are without nucleus. Why they are without nucleus? Just for the sake of reminder, because these mitochondria, agar amman nucleus is, so that jai, so that nucleus will occupy the space. RBCs are extremely small. If they will contain, if they have nucleus, then this nucleus will occupy space, lot of space in RBCs. And occupying space means the RBCs has to compromise with their oxygen carrying capacity. So if therefore there is no nucleus, so that these RBCs can carry more oxygen. They do not have this what we call as mitochondria, again because the primary function अगर तुम्हें mitochondria तुम्हें मत आए mitochondria needs oxygen because mitochondria needs oxygen for what, to oxidize the food. अगर बह तमन मज अगर अमन RBC मज mitochondria ओस mitochondria जरूरत oxygen came further for the sake of cellular respiration. अगर न वो अगर अमन मज oxygen अमन मज mitochondria ओस oxygen का इस्तेमाल सॉरी mitochondria को इस oxygen carrying capacity अमन RBC ने मुख्तलिफ टिश्यून पानिस तमें कन तल बात नहीं को अच बोड़ बार रीजन ये कि तवे RBC mitochondria कि तिकाज mitochondria कर oxygen इस्तेमाल पन्ने खतर RBC वातान ऑक्सीजन तमाम जिसम सेलन तम अगर अमन मज mitochondria अति सह ऑक्सीजन ठीक. That's why our red blood cells are divide are without this mitochondria. They do not have even nucleus, right? The rest of the cells are they have got mitochondria. Again, something very interesting. The number of mitochondria varies from cell to cell, right? Now, if you take the example of our those tissues or those muscles which have to work 24/7. For example, take the example of your first of all you must know that mitochondria is called the powerhouse of cell. It provides energy to the cell. So the cells who are working 24/7, they need more energy because they are working continuously. So then they need more energy, and this energy comes from mitochondria. So all those cells which are involved in more work, they need more energy, and if they need more energy, they will have to have more mitochondria. So there are some certain specific, we can say, cells within our body which have more mitochondria in them. For example, if you take the example of your heart tissue. For example, जो हमारा heart है ना, it never stops working. It keeps working because heartbeat is going on whether you are sleeping, whether you are running, whether you are doing anything, but your heart keeps functioning 24/7 round the clock. And the moment it ceases to function, means the person will die. So this heart muscle or cardiac muscle, it is made up of cells, and those cells are called as cardiomyocytes. That's not going to detail. So these cells need more mitochondria because they need more energy because they work continuously, right? Or you take the example of muscle cells. Muscles, and you have muscle cells. Muscle cells help in the movement. So the movement. What I say, while you are moving, you need energy. So these muscle cells also have a lot of mitochondria. In fact, in the liver hepatocytes, liver cells, they also have a lot of mitochondria. So it depends upon the function or the work of the cell that which decides the number of mitochondria. For example, हमारे जो eye cells होते हैं, they have less number of mitochondria. So what I am telling is that the number of mitochondria varies from cell to cell, right? And there are exceptions, like I said, red blood cells, they do not have any mitochondria. So structure wise, please remember, mitochondria is a double membrane structure. Its outer membrane is elastic and it is porous as well. Porous means it has small pores on it, like cell membrane does have. Through these pores things come and things go out, right? And the inner membrane of the mitochondria, it is folded into these finger-like positions. They are called as cristae, right? And the space between these cristae is called as intercristae space. Inside these cristae, there is what we call as matrix. We call as mitochondrial matrix, and this mitochondrial matrix contains DNA. It contains ribosomes. It contains enzymes. So here I would like to I would like to tell you that ribosome has got its own, this mitochondria has got its own ribosome, so it has the capacity to prepare its proteins, right? It does not need to depend on any other organelle for proteins because it has its own ribosome, so it can synthesize its own proteins, right? And it has also got DNA, so that means it is capable of self-replicating because it has its own DNA, right? It has got calcium ions, it has got magnesium ions, and so on and so forth. So this was the structure of mitochondria. Now let us go to the functional part of the mitochondria. Means what functions does mitochondria perform? First of all, you have heard, I'm sure, in your 7th class, you might have heard about the cellular respiration. What is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is a process wherein the food is oxidized by the oxygen to release energy, carbon dioxide and water. Here, for example, and this all happens in the mitochondria. The first function of mitochondria is that it is responsible for producing energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. How this ATP is formed is a long discussion, and it is above standard. It is something that is beyond your comprehension at this moment, because you are in class 8 and you will study about this ATP maybe in your 12th class and in the coming classes. But here you must remember that mitochondria produces energy in the form of ATP. It stores in the form of, it also stores energy. So the energy of the cell is is managed by the mitochondria. That's why we call mitochondria as the powerhouse of cell, because it provides energy to the cells. So, for example, if somehow the mitochondria becomes dysfunctional in the cell, what will happen? The cell won't be carry out its mechanical and chemical functions, right? And the cell will ultimately die because the energy component of the cell is managed by the mitochondria. So we can say that mitochondria is called the powerhouse of cell, and rightly so, because it oxidates. हमारे सेल में जो है ना माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया में जो फूड होता है, हम लिखेंगे फूड, इस फूड को क्या करना पड़ता है? ऑक्सीडाइज. सो इट हैज टू बी ऑक्सीडाइज. उसके लिए क्या चाहिए? ऑक्सीजन और एंजाइम. ये दोनों कहां पर होते हैं? माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल मैट्रिक्स में. और जब ये ऑक्सीडाइज होता है विद हेल्प ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, तो क्या होता है? वहां पर निकलता है कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, वाटर और निकलती है एनर्जी. इस एनर्जी को फिर किस पे इट रिमेन्स टू इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एटीपी. आपको ये कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बन गया, इट्स अ वेस्ट. इट हैज टू बी थ्रोन आउट एंड इट गोज आउट through these pores which are present on the outer membrane of mitochondria. That's why mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of cell. इसके अलावा जो माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया होता है, ये अगर किसी सेल के अंदर माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया किसी वजह से डिसफंक्शनल हो गया या उसने काम करना छोड़ दिया है, तो सेल के अंदर जो केमिकल फंक्शंस होते हैं इस माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया के अंदर वो नहीं होता. आपको मैं बता दूं, जो क्रीबस साइकिल होता है, क्रीबस साइकिल जो होता है ना, ये एक साइकिल है. इसके बारे में इसको आप टीसीए साइकिल भी बोल सकते हैं. ये भी कहां पर होता है? इट आल्सो टेक्स प्लेस इन माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया, राइट. ग्लाइकोलिसिस के बाद जो होती है, ग्लाइकोलिसिस कहां होती है? साइटोप्लाज्म में. उसके बाद होता है क्रीबस साइकिल. ये कहां पर होता है? माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया. ठीक, एक लंबा चौड़ा साइकिल है, इसको आप अपनी आइंदा क्लास में समझोगे. ये भी कहां पर होता है? माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया में. कौन? क्रेबस साइकिल, which is very very important. It's also called as TCA cycle. It also takes place inside the mitochondria. तो ये था माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया के स्ट्रक्चर के बारे में, फंक्शंस के बारे में. फंक्शंस के बारे में और सुनो. फंक्शन सिर्फ इसकी ये है that it is responsible for providing the cell with the energy, and it is a site where the Krebs cycle takes place. But let me tell you again, glycolysis it takes place in cytoplasm of the cell, but Krebs cycle takes place in mitochondria because the enzymes required for the Krebs cycle are available in the mitochondria. Thank you very much.